So the temperature in the Sacramento real estate market is starting to change. Price reductions are up 1,000%. That's right, you did hear me correctly. They are up tenfold just within the last 30 days alone. But that's not the entire story. We're going to take a look at the details today. I'll show you where I'm finding the data on the price reductions here in Sacramento, and then you can actually use what I show you to find out what's going on in your specific city or location. Additionally, we're going to review all of the stats and facts for the month of May so that we know exactly what is going on in the marketplace. So if you are actively looking to buy or sell in this market, this data and this video is for you. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the channel all about real estate. My name is Lewis, and before we jump into the details of this video and what's going on in the Sacramento market, if you wouldn't mind just smashing that like button, hitting the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, really helps grow and promote the channel. I would certainly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, so up on the screen, I have redfin.com. This is actually how I'm gonna find the price reduction data. It is super fascinating. So I'm gonna search just specifically for Sacramento County, which is gonna go all of the zip codes inside of Sacramento County. But if you wanna look at something specific, you can type in a zip code, or you can type in a specific city. Like if you wanted to find out what's going on in West Roseville or Rockland or something like that, you can do that here. Anyway, there's a few little adjustments that you have to make to get the accurate data. So first and foremost, I want to check on this for sale tab. I want to make sure that all I have is coming soon and active. I'm going to skip price. Home type, I'm going to go ahead and select single family homes. That's what I'm most interested in, at least for purposes of discussion here today. And then when you go ahead and click all filters, the data and information pops up. So I went ahead and moved a few things into the frame here so you could see it. Let me move my head. And then you can see that there are 1,791 homes that are actively listed for sale. Now, if you scroll down here, there's a small tab, and it is the price reduced tab. When you click on the drop down here, first go more than 30 days. And you can see right here that the number of homes that saw price reductions more than 30 days ago was only 43 homes. That makes up a very, very small percentage of the active inventory. However, if you click on this and then you select less than 30 days, or in the last 30 days, it jumps up to 483 homes. That's a more than 1,000% increase. It's tenfold from where we were more than 30 days ago. Now, what's interesting here is if you take this 483 and then divide it by the total amount of listings in Sacramento County, that's 1,791, then you can see that about 27% of homes that are actively listed saw price reductions. In other words, that's about 1 in 5 homes are seeing price reductions. Now, this is not necessarily a great trend if you are a seller in this market, but it's not the entire story. The good news is that if you're a buyer in this market, things are starting to cool down, things are starting to soften, and you're starting to see, number one, a little bit more inventory, and then number two, things aren't quite as hot. They're not getting as many offers. But the data for last month's sales is actually really revealing. So I'm going to show you that, and then we're going to talk through a couple anecdotes here, which I think are very interesting. All right, so here we go. Up on the screen, I have the for sale, sold, and pended chart. This is for the Sacramento region, which covers Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado County. There's a couple really interesting things that are going on and taking place that I want to bring to your attention here. So light green bar is what indicates the number of homes for sale. We have just under 2,500 units here. That is up 73% from a year ago. So there's a dramatic increase in the amount of inventory that came to the market for the month of May. Now, this dark green bar represents the number of units or homes sold, which is 1,822 units sold. From a year ago, that's actually down 23.5%. So the sales activity is slowing down. Again, you have rising inventory with less sales, not necessarily the best trend for sellers right now, but we're going to talk more about that in a second. In addition to that, the red line here indicates the number of homes put under contract, just under 2,200 units. That is also down about 14% from last year. Despite the rise in inventory, despite the reduction in sales, your average price per square foot still went up. We're hovering at about $363 a foot, which is still up 15.2% from last year. But you can see that the trend is starting to slow down. It evened out from it just about evened out from last month, we're going to have to monitor what happens here in June and July to see if we start kind of rolling over or just slowing down at this point. Now, I'm going to touch on this chart really briefly. The orange bar is the average days on market. You can see that the average days on market is still less than 2 weeks. It's actually down from the prior month. And if you go back a year ago, it's up about 8.3%. It's a marginal difference at best. So still, homes are selling under 2 weeks on average, and this green line represents the percentage that they are selling above the list price. So on average, homes are still selling for about 3% over the list price, if they are priced properly. As I mentioned earlier, the number of homes for sale has shot up. This is the actual inventory chart over the last 12 months. Massive spike here into May. We have 1.4 months worth of inventory. That's actually the highest it's been in a couple years, but this chart just goes back about a year. It's dramatically higher than it was a year ago. Inventory is up about 133% according to this data here. And what I find really fascinating is that the average over the last 12 months was probably closer to about 0.8 months. So this is a really big spike. Now, obviously, as we go into the summer months, this is kind of the peak selling season. It's normal to see a seasonal shift here, but in prior years, at least after the pandemic, we rarely saw inventory jump over 1 month. As I mentioned, I did want to talk a little bit about the price decreases that we are seeing and give you an anecdote as to what I believe is going on in the market. So I have talked to several mortgage loan officers, I have talked to several real estate agents, and they are all saying about the same thing. And that is that if homes are priced properly and it's based on actual data and past sales, what they're referring to specifically are things like price per square foot, location, features, quality of construction. Some of the main things, as long as you're taking all of those things into consideration and pricing your home accordingly, those homes are getting a tremendous amount of activity. They are still receiving multiple offers, and in many cases, they are going well above the list price. So what this is telling us is that we have still a massive buyer demand, and they are willing to pay these prices even though interest rates have gone up. So they're willing and able. However, they are starting to be a lot more selective. So they are defining their criteria. They are honing in on the exact location, the exact amenities, the exact features. They're being very specific about what they want. And then when they see it come up and hit the market, they are jumping on it very, very quickly. So the bottom line, based on the information and the data that we have here today, is it is still a wonderful time to sell a property into this market. It's still a seller's market. We don't have this massive flood of inventory, although it has kicked up substantially. But to be fair, it's still well under what we would consider a neutral, balanced, or buyer's market. But you have to price it correctly, and if you do, you're going to have several buyers that are lined up to view the property and hopefully make offers, and then the goal would be to drive the price up. Now, at the same time, if you're a buyer on this market, seeing more inventory is a good thing, and the fact that sometimes they are pricing these properties incorrectly is also a good thing if you're a buyer, because as the homes sit on the market, they get a little stale, and then we start seeing more and more price reductions. As we see price reductions, it gives you the opportunity to go in and be a little bit more aggressive with either the price or the terms that you're offering. So work with a local professional, make sure they are giving you good and valid advice, make sure it is backed by some of the data and some of the trends that we are seeing here unfold in the marketplace. And with that, that's all I have for you here today. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. It really helps grow and promote the channel and keeps me motivated to do more and more of these videos. If you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button, and please consider leaving a comment. The comments really help me learn and grow, as well as others learn and grow, and I think it's important to hear what is going on. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We'll see you next time. Be well.